At present, there are a number of AVR kits for the DMG Original, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance and SP consoles. But did you know there is a DIY kit for the Nintendo DS Lite? Over a year ago, we found this fantastic mod by @NightHack on Twitter showing that you could AV out a DS Lite console. We thought we'd give it a go, but simplify it in a smaller form. Like a majority of our projects, we started with an old rundown DS Lite console to experiment with. Our goal was to make the adapter as small as possible so that it could fit inside the DS Lite console. So firstly, we sourced some DIP adapter PCB boards. These are available at any good electronics store, eBay or AliExpress. You can source 15 for under $5. The first part of the process to ensure that the mod is successful is to flash your Nintendo DS with custom firmware. We followed the simple step-by-step guide produced by Faceless Tech. Now you're ready to get down to business. There are two main screws at the top, two located on the left, one underneath the battery cover, and one on the bottom corner, as well as the tiny black screw on top. Once you've removed all the screws and battery, it's a matter of just prying the shell open in each corner gently with your fingernails. The next phase is to remove the stylus pen holder on the rear of the shell. There are 3 screws holding it in place. This will allow adequate access for the newly created PCB. For the next part of the process, you'll need to source some resistors. We went with the surface mount types for compact size. You will need 6 470R resistors and 4 220R resistors. These can be sourced off eBay or AliExpress in a roll of 100 for only a couple of dollars. Our original thought for this process was USB-C TV out. However, we'll keep an open mind. The next step of the process is to prep the dip board. We found it easier by adding a little bit of solder to each of the joints before adding the resistors. We started by soldering the vertical points first, which are the 470R resistors. We've attached a schematic for you to follow as an easy reference guide for soldering points. The very top points of the 470R resistors will be the solder points for the wires connecting to the Nintendo DS Lite PSB. The first point on the left is point 5, then 6, 7, 8 and 9. We've attached a schematic for the solder points on the Nintendo DS Lite PCB. As the solder points on the Nintendo DS Lite PCB are extremely small, we first recommend prepping the points and adding some solder to ensure that the wire is easy to connect to the PCB when soldering. In this instance, we used 36 AWG wire as it was very thin, flexible and easy to solder. Before soldering the wires to the Nintendo DS Lite PCB, we added some double-sided tape to the rear of our adapter to ensure that it was fixed in place to make it more stable when soldering. In this instance, we used over 4 inches or 10 centimeters of wire. We ensured that we had adequate length as it could always be trimmed down in the future. As previously mentioned, the final points of soldering are very tiny and you'll need some patience. The finished product should look something like this. To test the final product, we went with the RCA port over the USB-C for pure simplicity. You'll find that the ground pin is the middle pin and the outer pin is the positive pin. Now it's time to test the final product. We recommend using something smaller than our 75-inch TV as it couldn't rescale the image properly. We recommend using a monitor less than 40 inches that can rescale to 480p. Wouldn't think of a better mod for less than $7.